everyone, welcome to Alchemy. So today's recipe is going to be a pumpkin seed bread roll. Now, as part of Indian cooking, we have a lot of seeds left used, right, when we use these pumpkins in curry or as a side dish. Now, sometimes people literally just throw them away, not knowing the nutrient value of those seeds. These seeds are quite rich in nutrients and vitamins. I have listed them down here, so please just have a look at them, right? So what we do with them is that we dry these seeds and incorporate this to the basic bread recipe. Now, as you know, bread recipe takes quite some time for prepping it, and for it to rise and fold, it's going to take some time. But I assure you, the output of this bread is so good. It's so inviting. It smells great in your kitchen. And this is a wonderful way to welcome any guest, or you can have them as a snack or dinner, as you please. So without wasting much time, let's get started. So the pumpkin seeds, which has been dried out for a long time, I took them in the pan and started roasting them for a few minutes. Roughly this takes about 2 to 3 minutes for the seeds to firm up. Once you see them a nice golden color developed, you can add a pinch of salt for taste. This will enhance the flavor of the bread. Once the pumpkin seeds are grinded, I get about 3 tablespoons of it. I also require unbleached bread flour of about 2 cups, 3 tablespoons of sugar, 1 egg, half a tablespoon of yeast, and half a tablespoon of salt. We need 1 cup of lukewarm water, a measuring cup which is 250 grams or ml, right? To the large mixing bowl, I took about 2 cups of the bread flour and 3 tablespoons of this grind pumpkin seeds. To this I added 3 tablespoons of sugar, half a tablespoon of salt, and half a tablespoon of yeast. Please take care that the yeast should be kept put in a separate way and not along with the salt. I also added an egg to this mixture and started to bind them well. Now this process is an important step and one should not skip this, because if you need a very soft bread, you need to knead them, work them. And once you see that the dough is nice and soft and starting to hold a shape, I just use some cooking spray or any kind of oil that you have to make it into a firm dough. I keep rolling them to ensure that I don't have a stickiness to the dough. Knead the dough for about 10 to 15 minutes, as this is gonna help to develop the gluten in the bread flour, and this step will ensure that your bread is gonna taste amazing and also look perfect. As you can see, I'm doing the folding technique here. As you make the number of folds, the air pockets in the dough will get developed and there will be a beautiful structure on the bread when you cut them into. Keep repeating the step for 10 to 15 minutes, and this is a sure workout for your arms because this is sort of relaxing as well. So keep doing this. Once the dough has been kneaded for about 15 minutes, we get a nice beautiful shape, and I just used a pinch of oil so that the dough will not get dried out when I'm going to rest this for an hour. After an hour of resting in a nice cool dry place, I see that the dough has doubled in its size. Now the resting period is minimum 1 hour, and after it's been rested, you can see that the dough is coming up when we press. Now this is a sign of a good, well rested dough. As you can see, this dough now comes off easily from the bowl because of the oil that we used earlier. This dough can now be shaped into any shape. It could be shaped into a loaf or it could be prepped as rolls. I have made this into rolls and put them into a pie pan. This is an aluminum foil pan. I'm going to now rest this again for about 15 minutes. And you can see now that they've again doubled in size. I'm going to now brush this with the egg wash. This will enhance the look of the bread. Now, if you do not want to use egg here, you could use milk to baste them. But do not skip this step, because if you want a nice color and a soft golden crust on your bread, this is what makes it good. So keep doing them until you covered it well for all the rolls or the loaf pan that you have. And ensure that the pan or the tin that you use, the bread fills out all the space. Else your bread will look not looking great. So that's which means that your dough would need to rest a longer time if it needs to fill out the pan. Preheat the oven for about 450 Fahrenheit for about 10 minutes so that when this bread goes in, the baking process starts off immediately. You bake this bread for about 360 to 375 Fahrenheit for about 15 minutes, and you can see this beautiful golden bread as an outcome, because this is going to taste so good, and because we've given it so much of love, this bread is going to look amazing. And just look at how soft it is. It is coming up, which means that it is springing up, which means that it's very soft and it is tasty. You can have this immediately with butter, and that's what I would suggest. I hope you had great fun making this recipe. Stay tuned on Elf's Alchemy for more interesting recipes. And if you do like them, like these recipes, do like and share. And of course, subscribe.